Very good morning to Professor Tengku, Inta Mainura, and my fellow friends. And so today, I will be explaining I will be presenting the tutorial question that we were given, more specifically question 2. So without further ado, let me present to you first and let me read out my answer. Okay, here we go. So I will be discussing the second question, which is divided into two, which are part A and part B. So I'll be explaining on part A first, which are to explain the types of properties under adat perpati. So adat perpati is a part of Malay customary law, and this adat originally comes from Minangkabau and was brought to Malaya through Minangkabau settlers from Sumatra. This adat is mainly a tradition that is used in Negeri Sembilan and Nanning in Malacca for customary purposes. There is only certain matters that adat perpati discusses, which are marriage, divorce, adoption, and inheritance. So adat perpati is an adat that is in favor of women, which it follows a matriarchal law. Therefore, in regard to property, the woman's side will get more of it rather than the man's side. So there are two types of property that is under this adat perpati, which are ancestral property and acquired property. Ancestral property is the property that is in regard of the land, paddy field, and orchards of the adat perpati tribe. The ancestral property is the property that was descended by the female tribe, and it will be equally shared between the male and female in the tribe in contrast. And in contrast, acquired property is split into three categories, which are harta sepencarian, harta pembawa, and harta dapatan. It refers to assets that were present at the time of the marriage. And ancestral property, and then moving on, ancestral property is the property that is vested on, or to simplify, given to the female descendants who will hold it for the tribe. This property cannot be sold, but it can be inherited to another female descendant with the right amount of money. The case that could be seen is the case of Muna and Isam in the year of 1936, MLJ page 42, and the court has ordered the return of Tanah Pusaka, which had been transferred to a non-clan member subject to payment of a certain amount of money. Unfortunately, the man lacked the legal authority of ownership to claim the assets. So in other words, only female tribal members are allowed to hold customary land. So now, we will be looking at acquired property. And to start off, we are going to look at harta sepencarian, which are properties that are acquired during a marriage. It is said that it depends on whether the parents have offspring. So therefore, when there is no marriage, the property will be given to the other parent that is still alive, and if the parent have a children, it will be passed on to the offspring of both of them. And then we will be looking at harta pembawa, which is the harta belonging to the husband before the marriage. And his customary heirs will handle the property when he is deceased or dead. So in other words, the property will be returned to his own lineage. After that, the last under acquired property is the harta dapatan, which is the property that is owned by the female, and just like the male, it will be returned to its own lineage or customary heirs after her own death. So, and then in conclusion, adat perpati has two types of properties, which are acquired ancestral and acquired property. These two property are given more importance to the woman, but it is noted, or it could be said, that these properties are shared equally between both genders to not create any unfairness in the tribe. Okay, so now I'll be expanding on the part B of the question, which is customary law is one of the sources of Malaysian law, and with reference to legislation and decided cases, explain the application of adat perpati and adat temanggung in Malaysia. So, customary law is a source of Malaysian law, which is a part of the unwritten law in Malaysia. It is deemed to be a regular pattern of social behavior that has been accepted by the society. Therefore, it is not a binding rule, and is only applicable to the certain members in a particular group. The customary law is also only applicable to a certain group. So this could be seen when the Malay adat is only applicable to the Malay people, the Chinese adat is applicable to Chinese people, and the Hindu and the adat Hindu is only applicable to Hindu people. So in today's society, the Malay customary law that's still applicable in Malaysia is the adat, which are the adat perpati and adat temanggung. So to start off, firstly, adat perpati is the Malay adat that is practiced by the people in Negeri Sembilan and Nanning in Malacca. Adat Perpati follows a matrilineal system where the woman is in favor of the inheritance. The application of Adat Perpati in Malaysia is in regard to only certain matters. This could be seen under land, tenure, inheritance, lineage and the election of traditional chiefs, which are the lembaga, undang and the yang di Puan Besar. Property matters are recognised by the court in Malaysia. This could be seen in the case of Hamsiah binti Omar and Abdul Jalil in the year of 1958. 1 MLJ, page 10, sorry. The fact of the case is that the divorced wife claimed for half of the harta sepercarian. The court held that the recovered land can be made after the proceeding, and the witness had stated that according to the customary law, the wife relative will decide on what to do with the property. There is also a few legislation mainly under the legal digest which explain about adat perpati, which are from various places such as Sungai Ujong, Kuala Pilah and Perak. Now moving on, I will be explaining on adat Temenggung, where it is also a Malay adat in Malaysia, where this adat was spread to the peninsula by the Sultan of Palembang and Malacca. Adat Temenggung is an adat that is patriarchal, where the man get the inheritance. Adat Temenggung basically the main application of adat Temenggung is on criminal law, where the judges provide rules on slavery, debts, loans and function of the officials. This adat Temenggung is an adat that is said to be a mixture of adat, Hinduism and also Islamic law. So you could see that this adat had adopted its law based on the Quran. Therefore, many Muslims are more inclined towards the adat Temenggung compared to adat Perpati. And you could see this in various legal digests or various legal sources, such as from Malacca, Kedah, Perak and Johor. And some had even claimed that adat Temenggung comes from Malacca, where you could see the digest of Undang-Undang Laut Melaka. So in conclusion, adat Perpati and adat Temenggung has its own use and application to the society. Therefore, it is important for a Malay to know the Malay adat law that is applicable to his or her own lineage. So that is all from me for today. Thank you so much.